Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Eddie Jennings from EJSLLC.com. This video is going to be another in my series of practice sessions for the Red Hat Certified Engineer exam. Before I dive in, I want to thank returning subscribers for watching another video, as well as invite everyone, if you're watching and haven't subscribed yet, to click that subscribe button and ring the bell when you do, so you can be aware of when new content comes available. Also, if you enjoy the content of the video or find it useful, make sure you click like and feel free to share it with others who might also find it useful. In this video, we're going to continue under the Create Ansible Plays and Playbooks set of objectives, and we'll be looking at use variables to retrieve the results of a running command. So I've already logged into my Ansible control node, and I've sudoed into the Ansible user account, and things should work well today. Apparently my Red Hat developer subscription has expired, which I knew was going to expire either today or tomorrow, and I'm waiting on that to be reinstated, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, and I don't think I'm going to need anything that would require the subscription, but if strange things happen, so be it. I do want to remind you before I dive in, though, that this is not intended to be authoritative information, nor is it intended to be a tutorial, but rather it's a chance for me to assess how well I know the objective and then whether or not I would probably be able to do well on the exam with said objective. That being said, I do try to have the information as accurate as possible, but if I do make some mistakes, feel free to leave comments about that so that way both myself and anyone else watching the video can get the correct information. All right, so let's make us a little playbook here, and we're going to call this register test.yml. Now, so far, some of the plays and such I've done is it's given us output, but we haven't made much use of said output yet. And one of the ways that you can store output in a variable, and this might be the way, it's the way that I have learned. Perhaps there are some other ways, and if so, feel free to put that in the comments. But I think this is what they're looking for on the exam, is the use of the register keyword. So let's make us a playbook. We're going to call it testing register, and we'll do hosts. We'll do this against just one rel an01. Going to become tasks, and what we're going to do is let's do a let's create a user. So we'll name create a user, and the module we're going to use is user, and we'll call this test user 26, just because today's July 26th, and we'll do state present. We're going to use this register keyword, and we're going to put user data. So what this is going to do is any output that comes from this module is going to be stored in a variable called user data, and then let's do the debug module to see what data is in there. So show variable debug, and we're going to do the var version of that, and the variable is going to be user data. All right, and let's see what happens here. Ansible playbook, register test. What? Register not value attribute for a task. All right, where did I make my mistake there? Oh, reg sitter. Yep, that is not valid. I agree. Register is going to be valid. There we go. It's not complaining this time. All right, so all of this that you see under user data is information that was returned by the module of creating a user. And so this can be data that can eventually be used for something else. For example, let's say that we wanted to create a file that uses the name of the user. Right? So what we could do is something like this. Let's go back into our, what's that, user data dot name is what that's going to be. Okay, so let's go back into our register file, register test, and we're going to I want to change this to a different user, just so we will get a new user out of it. And we are going to create a file, use the file module. The path is going to be TMP, and we're going to do user data name, and the state is going to be touch. All right, so let's see what happens here. So we'll run our playbook, register test. This should make a new user. It'll show the value of the variable, and then let's see if it will make a file by that name. All right, and we can SSH lab rel an01, and we'll ls the tmp directory, and there is a file named testuser27. So that's an example of taking that registered data that was put into that variable, which was from the output of your command, and then this is obviously kind of not really a silly, but maybe a real simplistic use of it, but it meets what we will be doing on the exam for that. And you might use this. We're not going to go into testing conditions and such in this video, but the output that is given from one task and the module used in that task, you might use that data as a conditional statement for whether or not other tasks are run. There is one other thing that I want to show you though, and let's go back into our register test. And this time what we're going to do, I'm going to get rid of some of these things here. We're going to run a task that is simply running a command, and we're going to register the output of that and take a look at what that looks like. So this is going to be a little bit different. So name, run a command, and we're just going to run the date command and register date results, display the variable. I probably could have just kept that debug there, but oh well, get some practice typing, right? All right, so Ansible playbook register test. Let's see what happens here. All right, so we ran a command, and the command that we ran was just the date command. Now notice what was provided with the within the variable. You see RC0. You see what came out with standard output, and also show, I'm not sure what standard outlines is off the top of my head, but there are times where let's say that you have your playbook here and you need something to not continuously show as change, such as if I keep doing this over and over, actually let's run the playbook again, and that run a command is going to show as changed because the touch command, as you know, it's touching the timestamp and such. And so what you could do, and again, this is outside the scope of this particular video, but you can register the, well, that might not be what I'm thinking of. The point being, this RC is the exit code for the command that you're doing. So if you have something that you're wanting to check to see if the command was successful, you could check the value that you have registered into your variable and see if RC equals 0. And then, if RC equals 1 or something that's not 0, then you can assume that the thing has failed. But the reason why I wanted to show you this was if you're doing things that aren't a module, in my opinion, in the tradition sense, like the user module or service module, you're doing something like the command module that is literally just running a bash command, you do get some data that's returned from that, and then if you store it in the variable, you'll see what you have. And ones that I think you'll probably use often are going to be RC, which is that return code, as well as what's in the standard out. One thing I do want to try before I finish up is do this with the shell module instead of command, because shell is going to actually run this with your environment with environment variables. So I'm curious to see if we're going to get a different result from, or a different result from the module that goes into the variable. Okay, so we didn't. We still have just the return code and standard out and all that kind of stuff. So this isn't too long of a video. It's pretty easy to plop stuff into that register variable. I hope that you found it useful, and if you did, make sure you do click like on the video and feel free to share it with others. Thanks again for returning subscribers for watching another video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell when you do. Also, don't forget to leave comments. You can leave questions, leave praise, leave critique. I'll respond as I have both time and ability to do so. Thanks again for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you the next time.